Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you? How are you, Binod?
I'm fine, sir.
I'm
What about you,
fantastic,
sir?
sir. How about you?
Great.
Hello.
You have been watching, you have been waiting for a long time. And I was doing some work. I was sharing the link, so that's why I couldn't talk. So one person has already shared the questions here in our chat box. It's great.
Raj.
Yeah. Yes, Wong.
Yes, welcome Sister Cynthia from the US. She's joining our section today. And please put him with Wileen, but Wileen not here right now.
I think I got
Sister,
the time wrong. Is this the right?
ma'am.
Is this the right class? Am I at the right time?
Yes,
Yes.
you are absolutely in the right time. And welcome in our
Okay.
meeting. Madam
Thank
Cynthia
you so
Stot.
much.
So Mrs. Cynthia Stot, I request you please tell something about yourself. And if it is possible, please turn on your camera.
Now she is too early there. She can turn off. Yes,
All right.
we allow that, right? Next time she can turn on. Now it's too early in the US.
Yeah, that I know.
Yeah, could you introduce yourself, ma'am?
You'll just have to
Ah,
my
thank
ponytail.
you.
6 a.m. for me.
No problem.
PM is not too early. PM is not too early. We generally wake up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock.
Yeah, but not on camera.
Yeah, but not the age, Sasiraj.
Okay, so I'm Cynthia Stot. I'm from San Francisco, California, USA. And I am a friend of Dr. Huang's, and I'm a speech coach. I'm an international speech coach and a global visibility influencer. I have over 47,000 followers in 140 plus countries. And I haven't always liked speaking. I was called Miss Wiggles in college, in my college speech class, because my whole body shook with terror and my lip did that quivery thing and I couldn't get my words out of my mouth. And I not only turned red, I turned purple, and one time I almost passed out. So I was terrified of public speaking. And I'm a Toastmaster now, but I avoided even being a guest in a Toastmasters meeting for 13 years. So I have changed many of my phobias. I had 6 strong phobias. I have changed many of them into my passions. And I'm so happy to be here. And I'm hoping that Wei Lin comes soon from Myanmar. And I'm supporting him to learn English so he can get a scholarship and study in graduate school. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cynthia Stot, for sharing about yourself, for telling about yourself. And I'm very happy that you have told about that you are a public speaker and you have been training people, you have been speaking, and you have been motivating people. So that's amazing. And I would love to learn from you. And if you wish to take a session for Zoom meeting, you are most welcome and you can teach something us. And we would be so glad.
I'd be happy to. Great. You can ask me any subject for speaking, like impromptu speaking, evaluation, inspirational speaking. That's my focus. Inspiration is my main focus. So I help entrepreneurs to sell their programs on the stage with inspiration, inspire people.
Thank you very much.
Can I share something?
Sure.
Sasiraj, actually, Ma'am Cynthia, she was very surprised that when I announced that we have been running this session for almost 2 years for free. She was very surprised. Why did we do that? Sasiraj, can you explain? And are the members here as well? Am I correct? Thank you.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We have been running our sessions more than 1 year. And I was as a participant over here, and Miss Huang, she was also as a participant, like the way other participants are joining our meeting and they are listening us and they are also learning from us. And we have grown our knowledge by joining the sessions, by talking to people, by training them, and we also learn topics and we mug up the topic and then we just impart our knowledge over here. So these are all things we do. And while doing all these things, we are trying to improve, and we always try to learn from natives, those who join here, and we listen them and we just get the idea from them, and they also motivate them how to be good speaker, how to train people, and how to be good listener. So all these things we learn by interacting, because all the participants, they have different kind of experience. They have also learned a lot of things from their life. So they share their experience over here and I share my experience over here. So we just merge the entire thing. Then we grow our knowledge. So all these things we do over here. So that's a very practical knowledge which we are doing here. Yes, there isn't any person who is a professional. I'm not professional and I am trying to learn. I'm just growing my knowledge day by day because of all the participants. So this is all about the things we have been doing for more than 1 year. And every day we have Zoom session. Every day. Means we don't skip any sessions. Dr.
Like
Huang,
eating, it's every day. You don't want to skip your eating, so you don't want to skip your English practice.
Yes. From Monday, actually
Congratulations.
from Monday to Saturday.
Monday to Saturday.
Okay, one day you skip. Okay.
No, on Sunday we have also. On Sunday we have also session. Sunday is for kids session, and Dr. Huang, she takes the session only for the kids.
Yes.
Ah, great.
Saturday and Sunday, my kids section.
Even
Ma'am.
two sessions, we do 2 sessions parallel. Means at the same time, 6:30 to 8 evening Indian time that I'm talking about. So we have 1 sessions for adult, and in a breakout room we have another section that's run by Dr. Huang, and only kids, teenagers, those who join Dr. Huang's sessions. And for 2 days she takes the sessions. She's hardworking a woman, and every day she teaches.
And smart.
Even I take 3 days session, but she takes I think that I've missed altogether 7 days sessions. And apart from Zoom, she has another meetings, other meetings she has.
Beautiful.
So, Ma'am Cynthia, should we call Waylin? He seems lazy.
I have messaged him. I'll message him again.
Yeah, please.
Mhm.
And sister, you can introduce Waylin, because Waylin is very new in our group. Actually, he has some special reason to improve his English to get scholarship, right? So thank you so much for supporting people like that. Thank you. And over to you, Sasiraj.
I just want to ask one question to Ms. Cynthia Stot, as I have chosen topic,
Yeah,
conversation,
you can ask.
conversation with strangers. When we start meeting people and when we interact somewhere with someone whom we don't know, and many times we feel hesitation that, okay, miss, if I'm gonna talk to that person, maybe he will be feeling good talking with me or not. Sometimes we have this kind of question in our mind that, will he talk to me or won't he? So how we start doing conversation with a stranger?
Best way is questions. The human brain cannot leave a question alone. That's why most marketing, most effective marketing is questions. Like we used to have an old, what was it? One of the hamburger places was, where's the beef? And that was simple question, but people remembered it. Or got milk, you know? So questions are always good, number one. And then number two, people like to talk about themselves. So if you're asking a question, you're not relaying your information, you're asking theirs. And so people like to talk about themselves. And so you can pull out of them, asking them questions and being curious and finding out about them. And using your listening skills. Those are more important than your speaking skills. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You need to use your ears. And so ask them questions and really listen to the answer and see if there's another follow-up question you can ask from that. And that will be more disarming. And number 2, smile. If you smile at someone, it's very disarming, it's very inviting, welcoming. And so you have to be careful with eye contact too, because especially some cultures, it's very rude to look someone in the eye directly. But you can use what I call soft eyes, you know, looking at them in their eyes, but not staring at them. You want
should not watch him continuously like this. It looks like we are threatening that guy. So looking at them in the eyes so that they at least in the face, so that they know you're paying attention, you're not looking away, but not looking intensely like is threatening kind of way. So that's my 3 tips. Ask questions because the human brain can't let them go. Ask questions about the other person because they love talking about themselves, and give them some eye contact, but make it with soft eyes. And I guess I had 4. It's a smile, smile and eye contact, soft eyes, eye contact. Does that help? Yeah, exactly. And one more question I have. Participants, you can also ask questions to Ms. Cynthia Stot. And next question is that sometimes we have some listening problem. We cannot understand. Generally, we talk to person who's natives, and sometimes because their accent is different in our accent and we have been listening normal people, those who are learner. We have been listening only learners, and hardly we get chance to listen native speaker. So sometimes we skip many words, we skip many idioms. Sometimes natives, they use a lot of idioms that we don't know.
And slang.
Slangs as well, exactly. But generally, when we're talking someone with and that person is stranger, so that moment we don't use slangs because that's called an informal words. When we are interacting with someone who is new, so we try to use formal words because we can't be informal first time.
Respectful, right?
So how we can improve our listening skills?
I'm going to give you a strange answer because I have a strange perspective. I am a Reiki master. It's fast energy work. And I'm very into consciousness. And I'm going to say, you listen with your heart. Your heart, not necessarily your physical
Fucking
heart.
you fuck.
Sorry.
And so you say it from the center of your heart, which includes your physical heart. And I actually teach a class called Speaking from Your Heart, so that you can listen and speak with your heart. So even if your words aren't correct, or your grammar is not correct, or you've forgotten your words, or you have no words, because sometimes concepts that are most deep, most important, we can't find words for them, right? In any language, it's really hard to find words, especially a language that you're not as familiar with. So when you tap into your heart, you breathe and ground yourself, and just kind of, when you're listening, you're in receptive mode. You're like a bowl that's being open to capture those words. So opening your ears and opening your heart to receive the information from the person. That's really important. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of a strange answer.
That's correct. And one more thing I want to share with you. I don't know that's correct or not. Sometimes, suppose any learner, some non-native speaker is going place like in America or Britain or some places where English is spoken. Everybody speaks English. So if he's asking something from someone, suppose he's an airport, and that person is executive saying something, and learner or non-native, he didn't listen. He asked, sorry, I can't understand. Could you repeat your questions again? Means he asked two or three. So that moment, those people can say that, Miss, what happened with you? Have you lost your hearing? Just remove your axe from your ear. So sometimes people, they use this kind of slangs. So this kind of situation, non-native speakers faces. So do you agree?
The slang is what words were you referring to as a slang?
That can be said as have you lost your hearing? Just
Oh,
remove the
lost
backs
your
from
hearing.
your hearing.
I don't even think of that as slang. That's funny. I guess an idiom, have you lost your hearing? Because I have, in my family, there's 8 children, and 3 of us are deaf. And so they have lost their hearing. They were hard of hearing, and then they progressively became deaf. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really easy to understand, because I enunciate a lot and I slow down my words, and I give pause. So it's easy for non-native English speakers to understand me because I'm used to speaking to people who are deaf, who are lip readers. If that makes sense.
Yes, I requested.
So your question. So what is your question?
My question, no, there wasn't any question. It was not a question. I was sharing with you. So this kind of thing might happen. So that moment, non-native speakers, they must not be worried by listening these kind of words.
Yeah, not to be worried if you lost your hearing. So what you can say is I'm not a native English speaker, so I didn't understand what you said. So for you, for non-native English speakers, it's not so much they didn't hear what was said, it's that they didn't understand what was said. There's a big difference between them. There's a difference between being able to physically hear it and being able to understand it. But language to me is about communication, is about understanding. You understanding the other person and the other person understanding you. And that's why I think when we use the heart for listening and for speaking, it allows us to communicate so much better, because the heart is an ancient organ. It was developed way before we had language, even before we had paintings on cave walls. And it knows how to communicate with another human being and with animals. So when we tap into the heart and we listen from the heart, and we listen with wanting to understand, wanting to receive the information, it's so much better. And then when we speak from the heart also, we can convey it much better. And we're more relaxed. If you're relaxed and tense, you're tight. And it's going to be harder for you to understand. Also, you're going to be in fear. And when we are afraid, we are more naturally confused. Confusion often comes from fear. So relaxing, breathing, grounding yourself will let you understand better and be heard better, understood better. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Great.
So I request participants, do you have any questions to Miss Cynthia Stot related to communication skill, related to public speaking, or anything related to English language? Please ask, because we have great opportunity. Yes, Marish.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your giving wonderful opportunity to me. And ma'am, I want to question what I know little bit English, but whenever I will speak, that time automatically my native slang come to English. How to ignore my native slang while I am speaking in English?
I know that as Spanglish. When you mix Spanish and English, they call it Spanglish. That's it can be endearing, actually. Endearing
Okay.
to another person. Just be relaxed with it. Main thing is to relax, breathe, focus on your heart, focus on them understanding you and you understanding them, and it will be okay. And with you have a smile and even a laugh or a giggle, it helps. It helps a lot. When you're relaxed and smiling and laughing, information goes in so much better. I used to teach kids class called brain education, and we would do laughing exercises. And those kids learned so much better than other kids. I had a 5-year-old that learned the 3 structures of the brain, the neocortex, the limbic system, and the brainstem. That's not information you normally teach to a 5-year-old. In fact, my yoga master was like, "What are you doing? Are you teaching them the layers of the brain? I don't understand." Well, they're going to understand it. And she did understand it, this 5-year-old, because we were playing a game to test. When we did a testing, they loved it because we played toilet tag. Toilet tag makes you laugh already. You're saying toilet. and you're playing a game. And so I would always be it, and I would tag them, and then they would drop down to like a squat, and they would hang out their hand and like a flusher. And if they got the question right, I'd flush them, and then they could run around it again. If they got it wrong, then we would just stay until they got it right. So it was a fun game to test knowledge. And they were so much smarter when they were laughing and having fun and being engaged. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So that's answered.
Awesome.
So do we have any other question, guys?
Yeah, Shiraj.
Sumati.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm really happy to be here. Even though it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm a little sleepy still.
Oh, okay. Okay, actually, I want to be fluent in English. So, what should I do to be a fluent speaker in English? Give me some suggestions, some ideas.
Well, I'm going to say it again like a broken record. Focus on your heart, breathe and relax, and slow down. Slow down and put pauses in there. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a lesson from Bill Clinton, the former president of the United States. Do you know? Do you know him? Do you remember Bill Clinton? He's a powerful speaker. I think he gets paid like $60,000 US per speech now. I mean, he's just amazing. But when he first started out, he had ums and ahs, and he forgot his words, and he put pauses in his speech. Purposely, he wrote pause, pause, pause. And then when he wanted to go or ah or forget his words, he just paused. And because he was pausing so much, he could remember to pause rather than to speak. So when you pause like that, you're a powerful speaker. You're very compelling, and you seem very confident. So I would pause and slow down. And another trick that I heard one of my friends from India did on his YouTube, he was saying a word that was hard for him to say and for people to understand. So he broke it down into syllables. He had to say emergency. And so he said emergency, emergency. and he broke it down into the syllables, and it made it so much easier to understand. So if you find a word that you're having trouble pronouncing, maybe your R's don't come out from your language, doesn't have R's, or it's some other troubling word, break it down into syllables or even spell it. I had a native English speaker. You could say she's a native English speaker, but she was from a very small village in the bayou in Louisiana, in the deep, deep South. And she was giving, in my speech class, she was giving a recipe that had nutmeg, which is the spice that you can put into, she was making biscuits with nutmeg, but she couldn't say nutmeg. She could not say that. To save her life, she couldn't say nutmeg because she grew up saying nut egg. That's how she pronounced it. So she said nut egg, N-U-T-M-E-G, nut egg. So you could understand what she was talking about. She spelled it out. So maybe you can say a word completely wrong because you can't say it. You just can't make, or at least at the moment, you're not able to say it in a way that English speakers can understand you. So spell it. Say nut egg, which is not a word in English. Nut egg. N-U-T-M-E-G, nut egg. Would that help you?
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, I have one question. As you told about the syllable, we can break the word in parts. But many times a learner, they see this kind of technique, but they can understand that how to break the word, what part they should separate it. So they are confused.
The dictionary will help you with that. The dictionary automatically breaks it up into syllables.
Mhm.
So if you have anyone that you're confused about, go to the dictionary and it will help break it up. Now, I use a dictionary all the time. The dictionary can be your best friend because it can also give you, you can also learn synonyms if you want to change a word, if you're repeating a word too many times, or you want to learn other words that mean that same thing. But it automatically breaks it up into syllables.
Yeah, that's true. There is one dictionary, there is Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary. You might have listened to that dictionary. So in that dictionary, all the words are written in phonetics forms. Accent is there, rise and fall. Symbols is given. So we can read it and we can easily understand how to break the word. In which part we have to put a stress, in which part we have to speak slow, and then we can separate it. And we can make the pronounced well. Okay, one more.
And some of them have where you can play the words so you can hear it.
Yeah.
And that's really good because use your hearing.
Yeah, I have already link of that dictionary. It's online. I have also hard copy of this dictionary. So generally, I just share this dictionary to all the participants that they can go through this dictionary. This is the link of that dictionary, Oxford Advanced Learner. Participants can hear the pronunciation. They can also know how to use the word. They can also know the family of the word, which is very important. Okay, I have one more question. Okay, do we have another question, participants? Yes, Manjural.
Yeah.
Manjural, you can ask questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have a question. Yeah, first of all, I want to thank a bunch to Scott for spending some precious time early in the morning. And I want to become a strong communicator, and fluency is important. So, which elements is need to be developed from parallelly fluent in English? What do you think about this?
What was the parallel? I didn't quite get your question.
Yes, ma'am. Fluency is important to become a strong communicator, but parallelly, which elements needed to be development to become a strong communicator? What do you think about this?
So let me say back to you what I think I'm hearing. Fluency is important, but there's something else parallel to that that's also important. What's that thing that you're asking?
Yeah, I am just asking what is needed parallelly to develop, become a strong communicator.
What is needed parallelly to become a strong communicator?
Yes.
I'm going to go back to the pause. It's so important to pause and to speak slowly. So when we think we're fluent, we think fast. No. Fast is not fluent. Fast is sloppy and hard to understand. Slowing the pace of your speech, also pausing, will really help you not only to be more fluent, but to communicate more deeply. You have to let your mouth catch up with your brain, because our brains move very, very fast, but the mouth has to slow down. And when you slow down, the person you're talking to will slow down too, and you will both kind of match each other energetically, even, so that you can understand what each other is saying and even thinking. That even you'll find even what the thoughts that are there that you can't convey easily will be heard and understood. So slow down and pause, very important. Does that answer your question?
That's it. That's a very good answer. And
Great.
I want to add something in this answer. You told that we should synchronize our words with our brain. And the best point is that if you slow down, so others would also slow down. If you are speaking fast, so other would also speak fast. And you are a learner, so you must speak slowly so that you can have time to think, to listen, to understand. Okay, we have one more participant. He wants to ask questions. Hassan, you can ask question.
Hello. Yes. Ma'am, what's your name? I can't read your name.
Hassan, could you speak a bit louder?
Yeah, I want to ask some question to Mr. Cynthia Stot. What's your name? How do you pronounce it?
Cynthia Stot. You can ask. You can say Miss Stot.
Miss Stot. Oh, nice name. Like, I want to ask some question. Miss Stot, do you know about the ALT test? I want to ask some question. I want to ask you some
I
question.
didn't hear what you said. Is it test? Do I know about
ALS talking about ALS examination. ALS.
I'm not
ALS.
familiar with that. Can you please explain?
ALS to go abroad, give the test. It's a test to go abroad.
IELTS. ALS is talking about.
ALS. You know what?
What's the initials? What's the initials?
Is the test important to go abroad?
Okay,
Without
I'm not
ALS,
familiar
you
with
can't
that. I am familiar with the one. I'm starting to
go.
become familiar with the one that has scholarships attached to it, but I'm not. But so it's a test of English. Yes. Okay.
Oh, Cynthia, hello.
Yes, yes.
Hello, please. Cynthia, hello.
So can I? So you don't know about ALS, so I changed my question. My second question is that do you know about how can we like make our vocabulary strong, and like whenever we just go in front of native speaker, we just forget the words what we learned before, and like we hesitate a little bit. How can we improve it?
You can improve it by learning more words, but I will say, even for native English speakers, speaking simply is important. It's better to use simple words than complicated words. So getting better with, like, we have a word of the day for my Toastmasters club that we always choose. And one of the Toastmasters wanted like something, a very unusual word. And I said, how about the heck is that? I don't even know what that word is. He goes, well, that's the point. They want to learn new words. I said, you are not going to do that in my club because we have half our people are non-native English speakers and it would be way too challenging. So instead we made it a simpler word. I can't remember what we chose, but that word was used, like everybody used that word because it was simple and it was easy to put into their speeches and their reports. So I'm all about making things simple. Sure, it's absolutely great for you to learn new vocabulary, but try to learn the vocabulary that's simple first so that you can say it and that other people can understand you. I have a friend that is very eloquent and she uses big words all the time. And I'm like, I need to use a dictionary in order to talk to you. How can you talk to someone that's non-native English speaker that way? It's very off-putting. It's very, she's not an off-putting person and she's not arrogant at all. She wants to communicate with people. I said, but when you use those big words, you make people feel like they're stupid and you make you look like you're above them. And I know that's not what you want to do. So now she's trying to use words that are more simple and more connected and easier for people to understand. So I would say, yes, absolutely. Expand your vocabulary, but I don't know if you can tell if they're hard words or not, but try to use common words that people would have. And I don't know how you would figure that out, but shorter words are better than longer words. And less words is better than more words. Like Seinfeld, the comedian, he would take 2 hours to take a joke from 8 words down to 5 words because he knew it was more understandable and funnier. So be simple, simple words, simple sentences, and you'll go much, much better.
Yeah, sounds good. I use this tip.
Thank you very
Make
much.
my English much more strong. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we have one more participant. He wants to ask questions. Raji. Hello, Raji. Raji, if it is possible, please turn on your camera if you are comfortable.
Oh my God. No. Wait. Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Raji from India. I would like to know one question's answer. Actually, I'm practicing more than 6 months, but my English is not that much good because when I was speaking that time, my pronunciation and my sentence formation was not that much good. I able to speak, but when I was trying to speak that time, my delivery is not good. And it's someone speaking that time I'm easily found they are making mistake, but when I was my turn, that time is totally blobbering. Sometimes I concentrate to my speak, that time I'm blobbering. If I'm not anything bother about, I'm speaking only, that time it's my delivery is not good.
Your delivery is
What
fine today. I
Okay.
totally understand what you're saying.
But
That's what
when yeah, thanks for your compliment, but when I was any kind of topic related I'm speaking, that time is my delivery is not good because my sentence formation is not good. What I need to do in my sentence formation go to
Can I
improve?
ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you were to describe exactly how to walk across the floor and walk at the same time, do you think you would walk very well?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like they say, you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. If you're thinking too much about your walking, you'll probably trip. You just need
Yeah.
to be relaxed and let it go. So when you were just talking to me, You were speaking fine. Your fluency was fine. Your delivery was fine because you weren't so worried about it. You were just talking to me. But when you are trying to deliver some information or give a formal speech, whatever it is, you're thinking about it too much. And that's the problem. Relaxing more. So I have a super tip for relaxing yourself and making yourself, when you're anxious about delivering your I will say speech, but even speaking conversationally, and you're anxious about it, it's going to be worse because your brain goes in a different mode when you're anxious. Actually, it changes the chemistry of your brain. So one of my friends was in a scientific study of the brain and what it did in fear. So they put her inside a CT scan, which I don't know what it stands for, but it's that big medical machine that you physically go inside of it. They slide you in and they slide you out, and you have to hold really still. And they put her in there and they took a picture of her brain and saw what it was like when she was at rest. Well, at least somewhat at rest. I'm sure she was a little nervous because she was inside that machine. And then they showed her scary pictures. I don't know what they showed her. I don't want to know what they showed her, but they showed her scary pictures. And they watched her brain change. The chemistry of her brain changed and physically changed. They took a picture of it. And then they told her to do something strange. They told her to wiggle her toes physically, move her toes back and forth. And that changed her brain chemistry back again. So I teach my students, when you're nervous, or even before you get nervous, when you're going to have a speech or you're going to speak to someone that's new or different or in front of the class, breathe, relax and breathe, and let your brain, your mind fall down to your feet. So focus on your feet. Don't look at your feet, but focus on your feet. Allow your mind to slip down to your feet and wiggle your toes. And that will change the chemistry in your brain. And you will be more relaxed and more fluent. And you won't worry about your delivery as much. So no matter what, if you're anxious and worried about speaking English or delivering your speech, that's going to make it worse. The best thing you can do is relax, breathe, focus on your feet, and wiggle your toes. And maybe smile, because it will become better. It'll be fine. If you're worried about it, it will get much more, it'll be very hard to deliver if you're worried about it. Does that make sense to you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my question. Thanks a lot for giving this opportunity.
Did that answer your question fully, or did you have another question?
No, actually, it's a lot of members asking questions. That time, my question also was cleared.
Great.
Thank you
So
very much,
keep
Raji, for
smiling,
asking
relaxing.
questions. Yeah. Keep smiling and keep breathing before speaking to someone. Or okay, I have one question. So please tell something about stage fear. Many times, if someone is invited to speak on a stage in front of public, a lot of people are there, and it's obvious that we are nervous. We can't speak because we don't have any experience of speaking before the public, and we are given a topic, and sometimes we forget the contents in our mind. So how we manage all these things?
Stage fright is what they call it. Yeah, stage fear, that sounds good, but the formal term is stage fright. And actually, they say that, at least for Americans, stage fright is the #1 fear, even behind death. even behind death. So sometimes you can feel like you're going to die when you're on stage. I did. And I almost blacked out. I saw that black curtain coming, kind of like a old TV that's fade to black. I saw the circle coming in and I was like, breathe, Cynthia, breathe. So we have to know that everything's going to be okay. You are not going to die on that stage. You may feel like it. You are not going to be shot. Now, sometimes people are going to be shot. I have a woman that grew up in Germany, in Eastern Germany, in the USSR. And when they spoke, literally tanks came and they faced a firing squad. So some circumstances are like that. But it can feel that way when you're just on the stage. But just remember, I'm okay. I'm safe. Breathe, wiggle your toes, and you'll change the chemistry in your brain. And for forgetting your words, a coworker of mine, he was from India. He worked previously at Cisco. And when he was a Toastmaster there, he told us a story about that he gave a speech and he had 3 points. And he gave his first point and then he totally forgot what he was going to say. He forgot his other points and he freaked out, but he just stopped and breathed. And then the information came to him. If he had wiggled his toes, it'd come out even faster. So stop, breathe, wiggle your toes, and maybe the information will come to you. And we have evaluators in Toastmasters. So he thought his evaluator would talk about his long pauses, but well, what happened? You forgot your words, blah, 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 blah. He didn't at all. He said, great pause between point 1 and 2. What happened to your pause between points 2 and 3? So his mistake was actually the best part of his speech. So pausing, breathing, even nodding while you're pausing and breathing can put your audience relaxed and also help you to remember your words, even if you're talking one-on-one with people. Public speaking is anytime you're not speaking to yourself. That is public speaking. So relax, focus on your feet, wiggle your toes, and know that everything will be okay and that you're not going to be shot if you say the wrong word or have the wrong grammar or forget your words. Don't worry about it. And native English speakers plenty of times say the wrong words and they don't have good grammar or bad grammar comes out of their mouth or they forget their words. But they don't criticize themselves as much as non-native English speakers. And that criticism makes it worse. It makes it worse. Think about a baby that's learning how to walk. If you criticize them when they fall down or when they wobble, that's worse. If you keep encouraging them and it's okay, you can fall, you can get up, it's okay, then they'll learn faster. So say to yourself, it's okay. Native English speakers forget their words. Native English speakers say bad grammar. Native English speakers say the wrong words. It doesn't matter. It's okay. And I can know how to communicate. I know how to communicate.
Yeah, that's true. Message should be conveyed.
Yes. And it will be conveyed. You know how to convey your message. Even if you don't speak their language and they don't speak your language, you can still communicate.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much. All right, so Romel, do you want to ask questions? We have participants, Romel. Romel, please unmute yourself. First of all, unmute yourself.
I feel bad taking over. Is this okay to be asking all these questions the whole time? I don't want to take
No, it's
over
a
the
great
class.
opportunity for us that we can have interaction. We can learn a lot of things from you, and we are learning. Even I'm also getting a lot of information, precious information from you.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Romel, please unmute.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes. Well,
I'm sorry, Romel, your voice is breaking. I cannot understand. It's better to text message in our chat box. I would read that your question, and Mrs. Stot would answer your questions. All right? Because
Yes,
I can't
absolutely.
understand. Please text your
Absolutely.
questions.
And I want to say hi to Wei Lin. I know he's the reason I came onto the call.
Yeah,
So sorry.
Violin. Hi, Violin.
Yes. Hi.
Violin.
Hi, Shashiraja.
Yeah, I'm Shashiraj. I'm from India.
Yes, I am from Myanmar.
Yemen. Thank you very much. Yama.
Maramar, which used to be called
Myanmar.
Maramar.
I'm from India, so in India it's called Myanmar. So generally we speak Myanmar.
Myanmar is the near border from India.
So welcome in our Zoom meeting. And as you know very well that what's going on here, we participants, we are asking some questions related to communication skill, English language to Ms. Stot. And participants are eager to ask questions. They are very much enthusiastic. So Eduardo is raising hand. Hello, Eduardo.
Hi, Eduardo.
Please unmute Eduardo, first of all.
Yes, hi, Cynthia. My name is Eduardo. I am from Brazil. Yeah, and I have a question. Do you have any tip to help us memorize some idiomatic expressions?
Idiomatic expressions. Wow, that's a good question. Is there a book of idioms that you could look at? I don't know. As a native English speaker, I've never studied idioms. They've just come out like raining cats and dogs. You know,
I know.
There's probably a list somewhere of common idioms, and you just have to be familiar with them. I will say something about idioms, though. They can be localized. They can be from certain areas. Like, you know, many countries have, they have the overall official language, and then they have the different provinces and different areas have their own language. You know what I'm talking about? Like the Philippines has a lot of islands with a lot of languages. So America is like that, but not as pronounced. So like my friend that was down in Louisiana in the deep South, she couldn't say nutmeg. She said nut egg. And so many also have, like, they'll say, my dogs are barking. And when they say my dogs are barking, they mean your feet are hurting. You know, when I heard that the first time, I was like, what do you mean by your dogs are barking? There's no dogs here. And they but it's a localized expression from the deep South, maybe from some other areas, I don't know. But idioms, it's never a problem to ask, what does that mean? Yeah, and that's probably the best way to find out what they are, is that when people say them, then you ask them and you find out. One of the funniest things you can do is try to say an idiom and miss it. And then, like, my dogs are burping or something like that, instead of my dogs are barking, would come out differently. So I would try to use idioms. And when you hear an idiom and you don't understand what it means, just ask, what does that mean? Or what does that mean to you is an easier, more, it's a question that doesn't make it sound like you don't know what you're talking about, but you want to know what they're thinking. When someone says to you, what does that mean to you? It makes them think that you're more interested in them. Does that help?
Yes, it helps a lot. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're welcome. And someone has a question in the chat there.
Yeah, the question is my question. Okay, what are the tactics I can take to sound like you? Technique is talking about that. How can he learn the accent, sound, pronunciation like you or like natives?
Well, number one, us Americans, they do not have all the same accent.
Yeah.
In fact, people ask me, where are you from? Because I kind of have the generic accent, which is really from Cincinnati, which most Americans are not from Cincinnati, but that basic American accent is supposed to be from Cincinnati. But I have known a lot of people through my life. I live in San Francisco, so it doesn't have an accent. In fact, I can walk around Stowe Lake and I'll hear 9 languages while I'm walking around my local lake. We have so much diversity. In fact, we're more than 50% Asian in San Francisco. Our population is. So accents, I have a little bit of a Texas accent because my mom was born in Texas. I have a little bit of a Vermont accent. Like I say exit instead of, I say exit with like an egg, exit rather than exit. Exit is the normal American accent, and Vermont says exit. And then I have a little Minnesotan in me and Canadian. So every American has a different accent. Every American has a different accent.
Yeah, actually that depends upon the place where he is living. It depends
It
about
does.
the regional. Like
It
in India.
depends.
In India, if we cross 100 kilometers, you'd find different accent. You'd find different language as well. In our country, more than 150 languages are spoken. And we had more than 250 languages. Many languages were eliminated, can be said, because the Western culture is coming in our country. So just because of these things, and people are just moving from village to cities. So that is why these languages are eliminating. So just because.
Well, oh, go ahead.
No, I just completed.
And we call them dialects because they aren't as different as language, with different dialects in different areas. And I will say that my accent came from my familiarity with someone with that accent. It's like contagious. And when I'm around people that like have a Southern accent, then I start speaking with more Texas accent. So if you want to speak like me, hang around with me. If you want to speak like any native English speakers, hang around with them. Have a virtual coffee section with them. Really, the more you can get familiar with someone and comfortable and friendly, the more you can assimilate them. Like I didn't intend to pick up the Vermont accent of my boss, but it just happened. I didn't intend to pick up the Texas accent of my mom, but it just happened because I hung around them and I was comfortable with them. And humans they have a lot of mirror neurons, they call them. We really reflect each other. So they say you become like the 5 people that you hang out with. you become most like the 5 people that you hang out with. So if 4 of your people speak the same native language as you do, then maybe pick a 5th person that you hang out with that speaks English, or a group that you hang out with that speaks English. That's why I think Toastmasters I have, it's early still. Toastmasters is a nonprofit organization that's worldwide, and I run a club. And we have many Americans are non-native English speakers also that join Toastmasters to learn to improve their English. And also, of course, many people in other countries. It's in 145 countries. So many people from other countries join Toastmasters to learn. It's who you hang out with. And when you're just listening to somebody's story, when you're having a conversation, those are the best ways to learn English. Because you're not trying to learn English, you're trying and striving and you're tense and you're anxious. Relaxed. You're just having conversation with someone. And that will become easier and easier as you have conversations with people. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Thank you very much. So Shadab is asking questions. Yes, Shadab, what is your question?
Hi, Shadab. Are you there?
Shadab? Shadab, we can't hear you. Voice is not coming. Your voice is breaking.
Hello.
Yeah. There. Hi, Shadab.
Hi, ma'am. First of all, thank you so much, sir, for giving me great chance to talk with ma'am. Ma'am, I'm from India and I'm so weak in English language. But whatever you have spoken, ma'am, I can understand. It was so clear. But my problem is, ma'am, what people are talking to each other in English language, I can all understand. But when I get a chance to speak with them, at the time I stuck. My memory, my mind, the word is not coming into my mind.
Yeah.
To speak with them.
Because you're nervous, you're anxious. You know, probably even if you were speaking in your native tongue, you wouldn't have good words. Your words wouldn't come, and they wouldn't be sorted out because you're anxious. So,
yeah, absolutely right.
making yourself less anxious will help. And so, breathing, relaxing, and wiggling your toes will help a lot. And speak slower, more deliberately, more enunciating the syllables. If you notice, when I speak, I really enunciate. And that is mostly because I grew up with hard of hearing and deaf people. They were started out with hard of hearing and they progressively became more deaf. And so when I enunciated, they could hear me and they could also read my lips. So it's important to enunciate, to slow down the pace of your speaking, and to pause.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you forget your words, say, I'm wondering, I forgot what I was going to say. You know, or you could say, I'm just checking in with myself to see what it is I want to say. And people can be more patient with you then. But
yes,
mostly
right.
slow down and relax. So if a baby is trying to learn to walk, and if they get anxious about it and frustrated, do they walk better when they're frustrated?
No,
yeah.
no,
And anxious? No. But if they're giggling and they're teetering and they fall down and they laugh, then they do better. If they're
Yeah, absolutely
worried
right.
about not being able to walk, they won't be able to walk, especially if their parent is worried about them not being able to walk. They won't be able to walk. So just know I am speaking English and I can speak English and I can communicate my thoughts no matter what. If I have no words for it, even you can communicate if you want to.
Yes,
Yeah. Trust yourself.
ma'am, your word can change my English because today I got all things, whatever I need to become a better in English language. Really, ma'am, I want to say once again thanks to you, ma'am. You have spoke all things, whatever we need to improve my English. And first you told us, ma'am, speak like slow down. I will keep it in my mind, ma'am. And really, ma'am, my English, I think that my English is better before 6 months ago, because I was very dull in English language. I was not able to talk with anyone at least 5 minutes. It was so difficult for me. But after practicing with anybody on internet, I watch a short video every day. I listen sir speech in that video. I love to listen everyone in English language. Whatever I'm speaking, this is a reason about comes from is listening.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. 2 ears, 1 mouth.
yeah, yeah, man. And I hope in future I will be speak like you, because ma'am, you have a great clarity in communication in English language.
Focus on your heart then. Really
Yeah,
tap
ma'am.
into your heart.
Thank you very much, Shadab.
So, ma'am,
Heart is how to
yes,
communicate.
sir, only I need 1 minute to. I have another question, ma'am. If I will be a great English speaker after 1 year, so what is the benefit of to learn English? How can I make our future? Could you tell me?
I'm going to give you one of those idioms. Okay, are you ready? The
Yeah.
world is your oyster. The world is your oyster. Do you know what that means?
What, ma'am? Could you repeat again?
What is your
The
oyster?
The world is your
Okay,
oyster.
okay. My word is the answer.
Oyster.
Oyster.
Yeah, so
You
it's
know,
a
the little
question.
sea creatures. It means everything will be laid at your feet.
Yeah,
So
ma'am. I got it.
when you have English, and it's not that English is better than any other language, and I'm not saying that, or English speaking people are better than non-English speaking people, but it is a language that is unifying, because in fact in many countries they use more English because there's so many different languages within that country. It's easier for them to communicate through English when they're talking amongst the different areas. And technology is in English, and math is taught in English, and chemistry. So it's kind of like we used to learn Latin, and they said, well, why did you learn Latin? It's a dead language. But Latin is used in a lot of science, biology and chemistry and everything like that. And so English makes it easier to communicate with people. And then when you do that, then maybe your job can change. Like what job do you do?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely right, ma'am. Every English is everywhere. I mean, in the world, we can understand what people are doing another country. Yeah. So we can also change our career by speaking English. We can teach on internet. We
Yes.
can make our career by speaking with good English.
And a
language.
lot of people from India code.
Communication. Yeah,
And,
ma'am.
and that, you know, if you can code and you have internet, you can be paid.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for talking with me.
Yeah, but coding itself that has a natural problem, because even native English speakers that code tend to not speak very well and communicate very well. And so they also need to learn how to communicate many times. We have a lot of Toastmasters that are IT people, because it's hard for them to communicate, and they know they need to communicate because they have to interface with the humans. They're fine
Yes,
communicating with the computer, but interfacing with the humans, it's different. In
Yeah,
fact,
absolutely.
one IT person at the Federal Reserve Bank is the central bank of the US. It's when you look on a dollar bill, it says Federal Reserve note, because it belongs to the Federal Reserve. And I used to work for them. And there was a IT desk. He answered phone calls and helped people with their IT problems in my department. And he joined Toastmasters because he needed to improve his English. He felt not his English, he was a native English speaker. He was Chinese, but he was born here. But he needed to communicate better. And he progressed all the way up to distinguished Toastmaster, the highest level in Toastmasters. And he attributed four promotions, which equated to probably about $80,000 US more a year, every year, because of Toastmasters, because he learned how to communicate. And he was asked to go up to our executive offices, and Janet Yellen was our president at the time. She since then has become the first female chair of the board of the Federal Reserve Board. So she has been in charge of the entire US banking system, the Federal Reserve System. She would run her meetings, and she would ask this guy from this lowly IT help desk guy to come up and facilitate her meetings, because he knew how to run a meeting on time and in order. And so he got to go to the 12th floor because he learned to communicate English so much better than any IT help desk guy would have gotten an opportunity to do. So learning to communicate better, no matter where you were or what you were born into, if you're a native English speaker like he was or not, learning to communicate better will give you more opportunities. In fact, Warren Buffett, the famous investor, he says that getting comfortable with public speaking can increase your income by 50%. That's 50%. And that's for anyone. Native English speakers, non-native English speakers. If you can improve your communication skills, you can improve your income.
Okay, ma'am. I will do.
Thank you very much, Shadab, for speaking, for asking the questions.
Okay.
The questions were interesting. Okay, I want to give an announcement that we are live on this YouTube channel. I request you all people, those who have not subscribed, they can subscribe this channel, and you can watch the entire video in this YouTube channel. And now I just want to ask, I want to read one question from Meme. Okay, Meme, are you here? Great. So Meme is asking one question that.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So you may ask questions directly here. You can speak now.
Okay, let me check.
Because we are here to communicate, to talk. Those who have some problem, they can text the message. Yeah.
Yes, you can read there, because I don't know what happened in my
Okay, you forgot. Her question is, okay, Imtiaz Malik, please mute yourself.
Okay.
So she's asking questions. I would like to know your opinion, which is topic that makes the partner talk long and make us improve or speaking fast. Fast means fluency. She's talking about that. This what kind of topic should we choose to speak more?
Okay, let me go ahead and read that myself. Is that in the chat there?
Yeah, in chat box.
Okay. So I didn't, hello. Okay. Hello, Cynthia Stot. How are you? My name is Neme from Laos. By the way, I would like to know your opinion. Which is topic that make the partner talks long? So you want your partner to talk longer and makes us improve our speaking fast. And when you say speaking fast, you don't mean fast speaking. You mean to improve quickly. You're speaking English, right?
Improve, yes, improve quickly. Okay, yes.
Okay, what is the topic? There is only one topic that everyone, no matter what their language, no matter what their culture, they like to talk about the most. What do you think that is? Everyone does.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
What topic?
I think communicate.
Yes, I think another topic like when we interesting, like for example, I don't know how to say, right? It work the same field.
Well, it's very simple. It's yourself. Everyone likes to talk about what they want to talk about or themselves, what they're interested in. Them. It's simple. So if you want somebody to talk for a long time, ask them questions about themselves and what they're interested in. What are you passionate about? Whenever I have an impromptu question that I have to come up with right away, I just put, what are you passionate about? People love to talk about what they're interested in and what they're passionate about or about themselves. That's the best topic. So you ask the question, what do you like? What are you most passionate about? What do you like to do? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite whatever? People like those questions and they'll talk a long time if you let them. Your problem will be shutting them up. And the more that you talk with someone and listen, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. The more you listen, the better. Think about babies. They start speaking very quickly when they start speaking. Do you think they have just started listening at that time? No, they listen from birth. They listen.
Even they start listening from their stomach when they were in stomach.
Yeah.
From 5 or 4 months, they start listening.
Yes. They can listen to music. They can listen to lectures. Women that are pregnant that go to colleges, they've shown that the babies absorb that information. So listen. And yes, you will improve fast that way. And you will also sound like you're a very intelligent person to the other person that you're talking to, because you're asking them questions about what they're interested in, what they like. Great.
Okay.
Does that answer it?
Thank you so much. Okay. I got it. Okay, thank you so much.
So become a good interviewer. Ask good questions. You will seem very knowledgeable.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so
Razi
much.
has another question. Hello, Razi. Do you have another question?
Hello.
Razi.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, I have another question. How to focus on grammar rules and all while I'm
I'm sorry,
speaking?
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you come closer to your mic?
Yeah, now I'm audible.
You're great.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another questions. How to focus on my grammar rules and all while I'm speaking?
Don't. That's my answer. Don't. Again, it's like when you're trying to figure out to say exactly how you're walking, or imagine riding a bike, and while you're riding the bike, you're trying to explain and think about how you're riding a bike. No, you just ride the bike and you make your mistakes. You know, mistakes are actually the best things that happen to us. They are our stepping stones. Here's another idiom, stepping stones to greater success. In fact, Post-it notes, you know, with Post-it note glue, was supposed to be airplane glue. Imagine an airplane made out of Post-it note glue. It would fall apart. It was the worst disaster. I'm sure heads were rolling, people were fired. And one engineer said, I wonder. He sang in a church choir, and the papers on the choir book are very, very thin. And he wanted to know how he could mark where he was supposed to come in and sing. And he put some glue on a little piece of paper and stuck it on there. And it didn't ruin his page. It didn't tear the page. And that's how Post-it notes started. And Post-it notes have made 3M, the company that makes them, more money than any airplane glue could have ever made them. So their mistake was the best thing that ever happened to them. And imagine our world without Post-it notes. I don't know about you, but I use Post-it notes a lot. I love them. And they're very innovative. But they were a mistake. And I was told this by a PhD scientific researcher that works in the pharmaceutical industry. He said 90% of the pharmaceutical drugs were a mistake. Viagra was a mistake. It was meant for heart patients, open heart surgery. And they noticed a very interesting side effect. And now it's made them more money than any other drug. So if you can look at your mistakes as, wow, that's going to bring me something different and new, it would be great. And don't think about your grammar while you're speaking. Study it outside, study your grammar. I'm not saying not to study your grammar, but don't think about it while you're speaking. Don't read the book on bike riding while you're riding a bike. Just ride, just speak, just communicate. And again, focus in on your heart and you will communicate. So communication is about people understanding you, not about how exactly your grammar was and your words were, and that you remembered every word and you were very eloquent. It's not about that. It's about communicating. So think about if you were to play ball, catch, throwing a ball back and forth with an 8-year-old. And if you were a professional pitcher and you would play ball with your 8-year-old, maybe your nephew, would you pitch 90 miles an hour throwing the baseball at him so quickly? No, you toss it to him in a way that he can receive it, in a way that he can receive it. Same thing with language of any sort. Communication is speaking in a way that another person can receive it and understand it. And that's all you need to worry about, not grammar. Don't focus on the grammar while you're speaking. Study it, learn it, so that you can improve, but not while you're speaking. Just ride the bike when you're riding the bike. Did that help you? You're welcome.
Thank you very much,
Good
Razi,
example.
for asking questions. And many thanks to Mrs. Stot for delivering the marvelous speech, marvelous answer of participants' questions. So we have one more participant, Mr. Abdul. So Mr. Abdul, are you here?
Yes, sir, I am here.
No, please ask your
Ma'am, I have
question.
a question because I am so person agree with you, but we learned English because of higher studies, and can we this help for us for writing exams and other things for English?
Do I have any suggestions for writing English better, like for exams?
Yeah, for speakers is good for writing exams.
Are you talking about essays or you're talking about answering questions around
Yeah,
grammar?
yeah, essays.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
We are Pakistani and
The two voices
we
coming from your
learn
side.
English for exams, because if we are better in English, then we are good in exams because everything in English. That's why we learn English. What about that? If we good in English speaking, so it's help for us writing exams, essays, etc.
Essays?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about if we speak good English, can we good in writing? Can we
yeah,
be good in writing?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and it comes with time. So a lot of native English speakers, especially Americans, are not good writers. I wasn't. I was not a good writer. I had to learn. I had dyslexia, and I had to learn how to write to convey my information. And in fact, I'm usually better spoken than written. So I will speak, record it, and then write it. So what is your question?
So, ma'am, we learn English for exams because English is very necessity in this time, and our India and Pakistan, we know English for exams, and that's reality. And if we good in speaking, I think it's not helpful for writing exams and
Oh,
English exams.
yes. If you can speak and communicate, you can write. And writing only, to me, writing only comes after communicating. I'm better at writing when I can speak it first so that my brain doesn't get tripped up. I just record what I say because I can just speak more naturally, and then I write it down. And maybe I make some corrections. But writing really comes from speaking, I think.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, right. For writing an article or an essay, it also requires some skills. It is not necessary that I'm a good speaker. I can communicate with everyone, but I can also write. And people appreciate my writing. It is not necessary. For writing an article, writing an essay or anything, you also need some extra skills. You should have good content. You should have good collection of vocabs, words, which should have some weight, so that
Yeah, sir, you are right.
people can read your article, because there are a lot of things are available on internet. Everything is there. If you search, if you type one word, you can find a lot of answer of that word. But whom should I write? Whom should I read? Sorry, whom should I read? Which article should I read? That is the most important. That comes first. And how that article or writing come first? When it has something different material.
And I would say a first brush would be shorter. Shorter is better. People are going to read something if it's shorter, or at least if it has a synopsis. I always forget who said this, but some famous person said this. It said, I would have written you a shorter letter, but I didn't have time. It takes more time to be concise and to write concisely. And that's why when you're writing, you spend a lot of time editing. And that's a different skill. But start your writing with speaking. speak your idea, speak your concept, and then you're going to organize it more, and you're going to make it shorter, and you're going to make it into 3 points so it's easy to understand. Writing is a higher level form of communication, but it starts with speaking. Think about a child, what they do first. They listen, then they speak, then they read, then they write.
Yeah, ma'am, I am agree. 100% agree.
Thank you very much, Abdul. Susie, we have one more participant, Susie. She wants to ask questions. Susie, unmute yourself and you can ask question.
Now I don't have a question, but I think I can make some what's the name in Indonesia kesimpulan. Maybe the resume that I can take if we want to increase our English, we have to more talk with everyone. But sometimes for me, I have to use some tools to make me easy to talk with another because my English is not well. I think like that for now. Thank you.
Well, you just did a perfect job of speaking English to me. I understood what you said. You communicated with me. And that's really important. You said something, you had something inside of you that you wanted to convey to me, and you did.
Thank you.
And that's what it's about. It doesn't matter if you have eloquent words or you have the perfect grammar. Nobody does. I certainly don't. But I can communicate. And communicate is like union, like oneness. Your idea inside your head was conveyed to me so I could understand it. That's powerful. And you did a beautiful job of it. I would just encourage you to speak more in English, to listen more in English, and to be more relaxed and not harsh on yourself. Have more compassion with yourself. Just like the baby, you don't want to yell at the baby and why can't you walk right? And you're falling down and you're tottering. What are you doing? No, we call them toddlers because they toddle, and we laugh with them and we encourage them. And that's the way that they're going to learn. They will learn if you encourage them. So you will learn if you encourage you. If you say, Susie, you're amazing. You got up and you spoke in front of all of these people in English. And it worked. Cynthia understood you. That's awesome.
I can understand what you say, but to speak more, I think I have to learn more about that.
Yes, more compassion, more compassion. The babies, they clap for themselves. And that helps them be better. So clap for yourself. Be compassionate. And that's a huge win you had today. You actually got in front of everybody and you spoke in English, and a native English speaker understood you. You communicated it. That's what it's about. It's not about language, it's about communication.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susie, for asking the questions. And we have one more participant, Romil. He has already asked one question, but he wants to ask one more question. Just Romil, what is your question? Romil, are you here? Please unmute and ask your questions. I think he's not listening. Okay, his question, he has texted the questions here. Okay, he's talking about the pencil method, that if somebody wants to speak like natives, so put the pencil like in that way and start speaking. So he's asking that is the best way, the good way that can we can speak like this.
I don't know. I don't see babies with pencils in their mouths and they learn to speak. There's many ways. Some people say marbles in the mouth. If you watch the movie My Fair Lady, he was the rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain, you know. Yes, you can do that. But main thing is proximity. Why I developed a Vermont accent when I live in San Francisco, 3,000 miles away, was because I was around somebody from Vermont. Be around them and try to emulate. So when I was a little girl, I was 5 years old, the people next door to us were from Nicaragua. And I did not know how, I said Nicaragua, you know, I did not know how to say it correctly. And I spent hours and hours and hours rolling my tongue. Nicaragua. And I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And I got it. Same thing with chopsticks. I starved at Chinese restaurants till I learned how to use chopsticks because I was so determined to use them. But the best way is just emulation.
Yes.
Children learn the language. Learn like a child with fun and laughter and lots of practice. I need to mute my video, but I'm still here. I have to plug in my phone. It's going to die if I don't.
You need charging. The phone needs charging.
After all that talking, I did not mean to take over your class, Dr. Huang. Oh
my God. Actually, today Sashiraj, he is running the session, you know. I will be running the session on Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday as well. Yes. So today he's he's hosting the session. I just joined here, yeah, to talk with some kids because they have different levels, you know. So I need to support them more. So that's why I have just finished my session to talk with some small kids.
Many times people think about that. They speak, they communicate, and still they have some confusion that they're not good in English. They are not able to speak English. They are speaking English. Their messages are conveyed, and we are able to understand then what they are talking about. Still, they are confused. So for them, they must understand this thing, that if people are able to understand them, their messages, and they are able to reply them, so that means they know English, they can communicate, they can speak. And if they want that, they must have some natural expressions, good accent, pronunciation, ups and downs, variation in fluctuations, all these things. For that matter, they need to listen natives, they need to watch English movies, and they need to listen English songs as well. We have also one session on Saturday, singing session. I invite all the participants to sing in their own language. It is not necessary to sing in English language. In that way, they can remove their hesitation. So these are the ways by which they can improve accent, pronunciation. As I have already shared one link of Oxford Advanced Grammar Dictionary. So they can listen the pronunciation. Just practice the read the word the same manner more than 20 times. If they are speaking 20 times, so that's okay. Just record your voice and listen your voice. Just understand that your voice is matching with that the pronunciation exact way or not. If it is not matching, so you need to improve it. You need to work on your sound. And I have also told you many times, I have taken the sessions of JAWS exercise. There are some techniques of how to move your jaw, how to use your mouth, because we are speaking from our mouth. Our lips movements are there, tongues, upper palate, lower palates, our throat is there. So these are things are responsible for your sound. If participants can go through those exercises, some jaws exercises, so they can improve their voice quality. They can also learn how to pronounce word. So these are the ways and techniques by which anyone can understand pronunciation, anyone can learn accent. And one more thing is there that's very important, that it's not necessary to speak in American accent or in British accent. Like Stot, I don't think so that you are speaking in American accent. Your accent is very clear. It's a neutral accent that I feel. It is my observation, because the accent which is clear and crystal, that is understood by everyone, that's called neutral accent. If you're not putting a lot of stress on word, if you're not just contracting the word, like natives, they contract the word. So sometimes learners or non-speaker, they can understand. But I think that everyone is here from many of the countries. They are able to understand, they are able to communicate with Stot. Because why? Because Stot is speaking neutral accent. Accent is very clear. Sound is clear, voice is clear. And I also realized one thing, that sometimes you're louder, sometimes you're lower with expressions. So these are the things of learning. So we have learned a lot of things from you. Thank you very much for telling all these things to us. So participants, do we have any other questions? You can ask and mute, and you can ask your questions. Yes, Guido.
Excuse me, good evening. It's very late in Indonesia time. I'm Cynthia. I'm from Indonesia. I just want to ask one question. What technique speaking do you use? In what technique speaking do you use in front of many people, so that you don't get nervous? Thank you.
So that I don't get nervous. Is that what was that the question? What technique do I use in front of a lot of people so I don't get nervous? Is that your question? Great.
Yes.
Great. Well, for one thing, nervousness isn't always bad. It's good. It actually can indicate enthusiasm. It means you care about it. It can give you adrenaline. So you get an adrenaline rush, and so you have energy when you talk. So it's not always a bad thing. And I actually have a program that's called Turn Fear into Enthusiasm by converting it by a mindset shift. If you're so I don't know why this is coming to my mind, but anyway, it is. If you were to ask a woman to marry, if she would like to marry you, do you think she would if you went, do you want to get married? And you looked bored? No. Would you like to marry me? It's different. It's totally different. It's enthusiasm. And maybe you would be a little bit fearful if you really wanted that woman to marry you. But if you could turn your fear, your nervousness into enthusiasm and excitement, then that makes the change. So some of the times that I've been the most fearful, which is usually at speech contests, I've been to I've been in a lot of speech contests, and they can be very nervous and very nerve-wracking and fearful. And in fact, I won the contest at the club level, the division, the district, the area level, the division level, and I was competing at the district, and I ran out of time. I went over time and I had to start all over again. So it's very nerve-wracking. But the second year that I did it, when I was on stage, all that nervousness, I was like, I've got to make sure I don't go over time. But all that nervousness and fear turned into my enthusiasm and my energy. because I really knew that I was going to nail it. I just needed to not go over time. So also, I'm going to go back to my recommendation for wiggling your toes. You literally change your brain chemistry when you wiggle your toes. Think about that. That's amazing. To wiggle your toes will give you a different brain. That's awesome. That's awesome. So breathe and relax. Number one is relaxing, but don't relax too much that you don't care. If I was talking to you in monotone and don't care, you wouldn't listen to me, right? Have to have some energy in your voice, especially if you want them to do something different, to motivate them, to persuade them to think differently or to act differently, especially if you want them to give you money. You got to have a lot of energy for that, right? So relax, be grateful that you have the opportunity to speak. Gratitude can change everything. Be compassionate with yourself, that you're just going to go and give it your best shot. And, you know, whatever happens, happens. My friend that lived to 97 years old, she had a saying. She said, do your best and leave the rest. Do your best and leave the rest. So relax, breathe, focus on your feet and wiggle those toes. And it will change the chemistry of your brain. And who knows what will happen? When you're connected with your heart to an audience, magic happens. Magic happens. Whether it's one person or 100, magic happens when you're connected heart to heart.
The way Mrs. Stot is showing her energy, the same manner you can ask the questions. Like not like that, Miss, I have one question and my question is that I feel nervous. Don't ask in that way. Just be louder. If you are louder, your voice would be clear, your sound would be clear, and listener can understand your questions well. Yes, you need to speak few lines, 2 or 3, 4 lines, and that's it. And just watch that Mrs. Stot has been speaking for more than 1 hour. We are about to complete 2 hours, and she has been answering of your questions with the same enthusiasm, the same energy, and how she's excited. She has great excitement of answering your question. Just many times I've seen that participants, they are asking the same question, but she has great patience that, yeah, I would repeat the same answer, the same things again and again. I don't get tired. I would be happy to speak the same questions answer again and again. So that's amazing things. You should have patience. You should be cool and calm answering the questions, and just she's also having the interaction, great interaction with you, getting the excitement of listening you. So these are things that are very important in communication. How you can be different from others. You can be different from others when you have some extra energy. If you have extra energy, you're enthusiastic all the time, you can have attention of the people. People would watch you, love to watch you, love to listen to you. That's why our participants, they have been stick here, and they have been watching and listening you carefully. So thank you very much. So guys, now who wants to ask question? Any other questions do we have? Raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask question. Yes, Hassan Turkey, I think that you shared some questions. You shared something. I just forgot.
Actually, I don't have any questions, especially to Cynthia, but I have been listening her carefully. Sometimes, just because of my business, I have to make some presentations or give speech because I'm a constructor in Turkey. I have a construction company, and sometimes I have to make some presentations, especially to Arabic people, investors. And in these cases, the most important thing for me is whether I know the presentation or the topic very well or not. This is my first priority. And Then, because some questions may come from the participants, that's why I rehearse many times to avoid facing with any problems with anyone during the speech. And the second most important thing is to use a simple and understandable language, because people should understand me very well. Otherwise, it's impossible for me to sell anything to anyone. And if my speech will take more than, for example, 1 hour, sometimes I make jokes from time to time to get the participants' attention, because they can get bored easily. So they should listen to me carefully. And if I feel that I am really excited before I start talking, I imagine myself that I am at home or in my office. I never care about people. I never care about my English grammar mistakes, because if I have to make this presentation in English, English is not my mother language. So it must be really normal for me to make any mistakes, but it must be really understandable. I imagine that I am at home or in my office, then I feel myself more comfortable and relaxed. Sorry, I don't have any questions, but I have been listening to you carefully for an hour, and it is really a complete privilege for me to join this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. And you were the teacher.
Oh, no, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. No.
Yes, you are the teacher. And you brought out the most important points, especially humor. Oh, my entrepreneurs that I have serious. We had a humorous speech contest, and my entrepreneurs did not want to participate. I am serious and I want people to take me serious. I said, then you need humor. And especially the more difficult your topic, the more complicated, or if it's about money, there's always fear that comes in the way. You need humor. Humor is, here's another idiom for you, the sugar that makes the medicine go down. If you have, the more bitter your medicine, the more sugar you need to make it go down. So humor, use humor in your speech. It's disarming. It changes their brain. When they laugh, their brain changes and they can be more open to information, more receptive. It's like, what do you do when you make bread? You knead it to make it softer, to make it more supple and open, to be able to rise. Same thing, humor does that. Humor is key, and relaxing yourself is key. You have things to use your imagination to make yourself more relaxed. I'm just at my office. I'm at my home. You're more relaxed. The more relaxed you are, the better your presentation is going to be, and the better your English will be. It will be amazing how much your quote English improves when you relax. Because when you relax, you can communicate, because we are communicative people. That's our nature. So we know how to communicate, not just with language. And there's so much more than language to communication. Body language, facial expressions, energy, tone of voice, pace. And if you take the time to write a letter and it's more concise, you took that time and care and attention. Same thing when you're speaking. If you can enunciate, if you can check in with them to make sure it's landing for them, you're really communicating. And you were an excellent teacher. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina, especially Cynthia, especially for your compliments. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It is very good point of Hassan was talking about the humor.
Hello.
We should have some humor. And there was one question that sometimes we forget the contents. We are delivering speech in front of public and we forget the content. So we breathe and we can have relax. So we can have also this opportunity that we can also start interact with someone. Suppose I forgot the idea, this is what I have to speak now. And what I would do, I would start interacting with someone. There would be some general conversation or some humor. Like, you're looking so smart that you're wearing this yellow shirt. That's amazing. But I was in my college at that moment, whenever I used to wear that yellow shirt. During this moment, I could remember the contents which I have to speak. So that's a general conversation. We are having interactions in that way. Audience can have some interest that, yeah, that a speaker is also talking with us. He may also ask to talk to other participants, other listeners, other audience. So in that way, you can make the audience calm, relaxed. You can have some humor. So these are the ways, techniques that can be said. These are some techniques how you can be a smart speaker when you don't have idea, when you forget the idea. So you can use these kind of techniques.
Yeah, and the more relaxed you are, the more relaxed the other person is going to be or the audience is going to be. They follow you.
Yeah.
I used to teach yoga, and it was a Korean style, and I had Korean yoga masters and trainers, and many of them, their English was very poor. They didn't speak much English, and they would say to me, it's not English, it's energy. What you do as the instructor, if you do it, they will follow you. And don't use your words so much. Stop talking, Cynthia. Stop using your words. Just do the exercise and they will follow you. And same thing when you're speaking. Even if you don't have the words, even if there are no words to express what you want to express, they will follow you. Communicate. Communicate. And communicate is based on community, communing with someone. And that has the indication of heart to heart is the best communication. Every human has a heart, and the heart does not speak English or any other language. It speaks the language of humans.
Yeah, thank you very much. So do we have any other question? Any participants? It's a great opportunity for everyone. If you are lacking somewhere, if you have some doubt, anything, any questions, you can. Yes, Nizam. Nizam, do you have questions? Yes, there are a lot of distortion which is coming from your side. Now you can speak, Nizam.
There is a question from Marcos in the chat box.
Marcos, what would be a better way to improve listening skills? Yeah, listening skills. I asked that questions.
That's great. I'm gonna have a very simple answer. Listen. Just listen.
That is why I have recorded the entire session. Means people can watch it.
Watch it and listen.
Listen again.
And listen with your heart, meaning that you really want to hear what they have to say. You're not just listening to respond. I'm listening so I can figure out what I'm going to say next to make myself look good. No. Listen, really listen. I talked about Bill Clinton, the former president of the United States. They said, many people who have met him in person say he makes you feel like you're the only person in the world when he's talking to you. And that's very powerful. So listen with strong intent of hearing them, of understanding them. use compassion, and even love. It makes it better when you really want to hear what they have to say. And you can even say, I really want to hear what you have to say, but I can't hear your words when you talk too fast, when you're talking fast. Could you slow down so that I could hear and understand what you have to say? Because it's very important to me. That will change everything. That will change everything. So one of the roles in Toastmasters is to be an evaluator, to evaluate the speaker. So really, you have to be a strong listener and really listen to them. And my biggest tip, which I give in my class and when I teach evaluation, is to look at the speaker, even if you don't know them, because oftentimes they don't. They're a new speaker coming in. To look at them as your beloved, as your spouse or your child or your mother or your aunt, someone you really want to understand and help them grow. And that changes everything. In science, in physics, there's this term called the observer affects the observed. And I say it's like being a sacred witness. Being a sacred witness to the other person that is speaking, that you really want to hear their words and their intention. And it can change everything. So to listen better, listen. Listen. Don't be thinking about the watermelon in your refrigerator. Don't be thinking about walking the dog. Focus on them and really want to hear what they have to say.
Listening and responding. Both are important. Listen and then have time and respond. Because when you are responding, that means you are absorbing the idea and you are technically answering, speaking, communicating. When you're responding, communicating, that means you are giving chances to other people that they can also ask some questions, they can also interact with you. So in that way, we can grow a healthy conversation, which will improve your communication skill along with your listening skill. Listen, then speak. Listen, then speak. Many times what when that two people, they speak together, another person, one person is speaking, another person, he got some idea about his speech and he also started speaking at the same time. So two people are speaking together. So ultimately, we don't get any kind of good conversations. That happens generally. That happens with everyone. So the best way, listen carefully, listen and then respond. And many times in our Zoom meeting, we all are speaking and suddenly one person starts speaking. So have patience and always think that when you are going to do any kind of conversation with someone, don't think that you don't have time. You are in hurry. You feel that you have a lot of time. Feel that. If you want to improve your communication skill or English language, feel that you have a lot of time. You should stay for the long time, and then you can get you will be getting chance of speaking. And if you feel that now I have only 5 minutes or 10 minutes and that's it, after that I would leave. So in that manner, you can't learn communication skill, because learning communication skill, it requires time. How much you speak, that much you would get improvement. As Stot has told, the power of communication, she has given a lot of examples of many public speakers. They are making money more than $60,000, $80,000. So just because of their communication skill. So there's a power of communication. You don't require any kind of professional degree. You don't require any strong background. You don't require. Nowadays, the YouTube and a lot of social medias are the biggest platform. You just record your video, the powerful video, which has strong content, and upload it. Explore yourself. So these are the ways. These are the free platform for you. It is for everyone. Anybody can be a speaker. Anybody can be a communicator. For that matter, you need to have that passion of doing all these things. So participants, do we have any other questions? We need to just end the meeting now. We have crossed the time, the limited time. We have 2 hours. We have already completed 2 hours.
Yes. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Can I have a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Hello, Cynthia. English language is a second language. English is a second language for us, except for US, United States, UK, Australia, New Zealand. I would like to know that how we can over the thoughts of our second, the thoughts of our first native language. For example, when we speak or listening to other people, we have a thought first native language in our brain. We cannot speak. We cannot reply directly to other people as a native spoken. Therefore, I would like to know how can we over as the first language to directly native language.
I don't speak any other languages, so I don't know directly how I would do it, because the only other language I speak is sign language for the deaf. But what I've heard is that people think in their native language, and they do have to interpret it, and it can take longer. Maybe the interpreter inside your head gets faster. So you can because you need to hear it in English, move it around in your brain in your own language, your native language, and then send it out in English. So there's time that takes. You have to be patient and compassionate with yourself. Okay, something's coming here. So I think it will always be there, but I think you can adapt to it better the more you relax. I used to teach brain education, and I had a private student. Her first language was Chinese. She's American, but she had a Chinese caregiver. And so her first language was Chinese, and then English was her usual language. And then she was learning German. And then now she was going to learn Japanese. And she came in to my private session, and she knew 8 out of 24 characters. And in 10 minutes, using my brain education techniques, she knew 22 of 24 characters. So your brain can get smarter when you're relaxed. I would actually have her put a dime on the center of her head. With a dime is 10 cents. It's a metal, and it would stick to her brain. And I knew she was relaxed with that. And then she'd write her characters. And if her dime fell off, I knew she was no longer relaxed. So we would stop, we'd relax her and put her dime back on. So relaxation, really focused concentration with relaxation is very powerful, and it will literally turn your brain into a magnet that can hold a dime on your forehead. So the human brain is very powerful. I don't know when or even if that interpretation will kind of go away, that you can understand something. I don't know. And it's individual. But I do know that you will get smarter and understand English better when you're relaxed. When you're relaxed and connected and grounded. So breathe, focus on your feet, wiggle your toes, and it will improve. I promise.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. Thank you, Waylon, for bringing me here. I wouldn't have come on this call without you.
Thank you very much, Miss Cynthia Stot, for telling us about communication, listening, speaking, how to be calm and cool, how to be enthusiastic, energetic, all the qualities you have. And you have told almost everything, the extract of your life in this 2 hours. And we are glad to hear you. This moment was the precious moment for us, because we have been learning, we have been improving, and we need some time like you, motivator, who encourages us in a positive way. And we have been motivated by you. So thanks a lot from bottom of my heart. You have delivered marvelous, important point for us. Thank you very much once again. So now we are going to end the meeting at last. Dr. Huang, do you want to say something? And thank you very much, Dr. Huang, who has invited you.
Thank you so much. Actually, right now I'm speechless. Right now, I've been so emotional right now. I'm so happy and proud of you and everyone here. Yes, I want to add small thing to Waylon. I agree with you, Cynthia. Everything you share, obviously correct, you know. But the thing here also with us, we should build our habits to talk in English on the daily basis. That's why I join and support this platform and community here. To be honest with you, the first time I was Waylon and more like hesitate. I have a lot of hesitation to talk in English. But you know, after a long journey, when supporting people like this, I feel better. Yes, so the thing here, you have to keep consistency and persistency to talk, and the habit to speak, to talk in English on the daily basis. The thing, so that's will make you more comfortable and flexible when talk in English. Yes, so that's my sharing. Thank you so much. That's my final words. I'm very happy, so I don't have any other words to talk. Yeah, once again, thank you, and please joining and supporting us. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Huang, for speaking.
Yes,
So yes, I would like to ask to Ms. Stot, please say something about our sessions, which we do almost every day.
Can I say something?
Yes, Hassan.
Okay, actually, I want to talk to Dr. Huang because I like Cynthia too much. But one day, Dr. Huang invited me to a Zoom meeting, and I attended the meeting without any hesitation because I respect Dr. Huang too much. And there was a lady in probably she was maybe 70